Hi there, and welcome to the event. We'll be getting started in just a moment. Take a look around our event platform. You'll find important event information, a list of resources, including our follow along materials, as well as our media player window. You can resize the media player by clicking and dragging from the bottom corner. Or you can click the Maximize button to view this presentation in full screen. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be starting shortly.
I see cold, I'm just a diamond in the rough. Keep it cool, cause every time I'm rising up. I'm on a roll, oh yeah, I do it like that. I'm wild and bold, oh na 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 na. Got 'em like got 'em like
Hi there, and welcome to the event. I'm Jared with Microsoft, and I am excited that you have joined us today. As sales professionals, you're constantly balancing client relationships, market research, and persuasive communication. And in today's competitive environment, personalization at scale is more important than it's ever been. So today, I want to explore how Microsoft 365 Copilot can transform your workflow and help you understand client needs deeply, respond with tailored solutions quickly. All of this is not about replacing your relationship skills, it's here to amplify them, giving you more time to connect meaningfully with clients while handling the routine tasks much more efficiently. We've designed this session to be practical and relevant to your sales responsibilities. Feel free to share questions through the chat feature as we go. Our team is monitoring and will address as many questions as possible. So, with that said, let's take a look at our agenda. We're going to begin with a brief introduction to what is Microsoft 365 Copilot and what makes it uniquely powerful. After that, I want to cover some of the essential prompting strategies to help you communicate effectively with Copilot. However, the heart of our session is going to be the live demonstrations across the Microsoft 365 suite. You'll see firsthand how Copilot can help you analyze client communications in Outlook, create personalized proposals in Microsoft Word, design compelling presentations in PowerPoint, capture key information from meetings using Teams, gather market insights and data in Excel, and easily gather customer feedback with Microsoft Forms. And finally, we'll conclude with next steps and resources to support you along your Copilot journey. Everything we cover today is designed to deliver value to your role. So, with that said, let's get started. When you think about being productive at work, you might imagine having an assistant there to help. Traditionally, we associate assistants with executives and upper management. However, with advancements in AI, Copilot is designed to provide everyone with an AI assistant at work. This is a bold promise, and Copilot delivers in significant ways. But first, it's important to understand that this artificial intelligence is powered by what's called a large language model, or LLM. Essentially, what this means is that it understands words and how they relate to each other. That combines to form a vast amount of intelligence that can respond to us in a human like way. In the past, interacting with computers required a knowledge of code and a rigid and structured way of communicating for the PC to understand. Now, with large language models and Copilot, you can use casual, conversational speech and it will intelligently understand you. This is the foundation of how Copilot works. Its capabilities are further enhanced with its integration into Microsoft 365, giving it access to your organization's data. Of course, it is built with best in class data protection and privacy. This intelligence and company knowledge are also integrated into the apps that you use daily. These apps include familiar ones like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, Outlook, and even some newer faces like Microsoft Loop. To access Copilot, your organization needs to have assigned you a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. Once you have a license, you'll see the Copilot icon, which I'll show you later, and you can interact with Copilot within the apps you're familiar with. As I mentioned, Copilot has access to a wide array of company data, including sensitive information and confidential projects. It's crucial to emphasize that Microsoft 365 Copilot runs on trust, the trust that you and your organization place in us at Microsoft. The data that you provide to Copilot is your data. Microsoft and our partners cannot view your interactions, and your data is not used to train the AI models. The AI models are already highly trained, and your data is used solely for your organization's purposes. The security of this language model is backed by Microsoft's comprehensive compliance and security protocols, providing the same level of protection that organizations have relied on with Microsoft 365 for years. There are several ways that you can talk to Copilot. One way is through Copilot Chat for Work and Web, which can be accessed in a few different places. To talk to Copilot, you can go to microsoft.com/copilot. This will take you to the web-based interface where you can ask Copilot questions about your organization or knowledge that's on the web and much more. You'll also find this chat interface inside of the Microsoft 365 Copilot app and through the sidebar in our Microsoft Edge browser. Inside of Microsoft Teams, you can chat with Copilot in the Chat tab, just as you would with your colleagues. Now, you can gain even more value from Copilot by using the in-app chat. Apps like Outlook. Copilot can assist you drafting emails and considering the context of the entire email thread. In Microsoft Teams, Copilot is available in meetings and chats. In Microsoft Word, it allows you to draft and summarize content. And in PowerPoint, it will help you present information effectively. This is also available in Excel and a variety of other applications too. Across these apps, Copilot is deeply integrated into these experiences. So, how does it work? The key is prompts. Prompts are what you say to Copilot. Now, while I'm going to share the best way to prompt Copilot, it is important to remember that you can just talk to it naturally, as if you were conversing with another person. Even if your prompt isn't perfect, Copilot will still strive to provide a helpful response. However, there are some ways to enhance your prompts for optimal results. Simply telling Copilot what you need is an excellent way to get started. It can perform tasks like transforming an FAQ document into a 10-slide onboarding guide. It's also useful for catching up on information that we may have missed in a Teams chat or an email thread, or for learning about the different projects and concepts that exists within an organization. You can phrase these requests as standard questions, but adding the right ingredients to your prompts makes it even more powerful. There are 4 key elements to crafting an effective Copilot prompt. First is the goal. Clearly state, what do you want Copilot to do? For example, generate 3 to 5 bullet points. Well, there's our goal. Now, when it comes to context, this is about providing background information to explain why do you need the information. For example, to let's say prepare me for a meeting with client X to discuss their phase 3 brand campaign. Now, because Microsoft 365 Copilot is integrated, it understands who client X is and the details of the phase 3 plus brand campaign, so you don't have to copy and paste information in context. We also want to specify a source. For example, focus on emails and Teams chats since June. This is useful if a significant change occurred, let's say, in June, and the earlier information is irrelevant. By giving Copilot this context, it helps refine the response. And finally, we also want to set proper expectations. Like, for example, please use simple language so I can get up to speed quickly, or explain this to me as if I am a child, or explain it to me as if you were a pirate. Whatever it is, these expectations help Copilot give you these better responses. All of these elements. Goal, context, sources, and expectations are the ingredients to make an effective Copilot prompt. Here are a few other tips for prompting. Your initial prompt is just the beginning. You can keep the conversation going and follow up on your prompts to guide Copilot towards the best outcome. Copilot also excels at translating languages. Large language models have a strong understanding of language, so that makes localization even easier. Copilot can also assist with creative tasks, such as creating a narrative or developing a storytelling demo of your organization's products. It is important to be aware of Copilot's limitations. While we are continuously working to enhance Copilot's capabilities, there are some tasks that it just cannot yet perform. Copilot will attempt to inform you of its limitations, but sometimes the response may be unsatisfactory or unclear. It is important for you to use your human power of judgment and discernment in evaluating the response to make sure that it is quality. Using quotation marks for specific phrases can be helpful for Copilot, just as it is for human readers. And when we're switching to a topic, it is good to start fresh and create a new chat to help Copilot stay focused. Finally, it's beneficial to treat Copilot with the same level of professionalism that you would extend to your colleagues. Now, while this might seem a bit unusual to be courteous to a computer, it has been observed that being professional and kind to Copilot can result in more comprehensive and insightful responses. Therefore, it's a good practice to say please and thank you. If you need assistance with prompting, there is a Copilot prompt library available. When interacting with Copilot, you'll typically see a window like this where you can input your prompts. At the bottom, there is an icon that resembles stars or a book, and it's usually labeled View Prompts. Clicking on this opens up the Copilot prompt gallery. Here, you'll find a variety of prompts created by Microsoft and others, which you can use as inspiration. You can customize these prompts to suit your specific needs, providing a great starting point. So if you find a prompt that you like, you can bookmark it using that icon there, and it'll be saved in your saved area within the Copilot prompt gallery. Now, to access this, you can go to microsoft.com/copilot, and then you'll find that View Prompts button there at the bottom. If you're not seeing what's described, do remember that you need to have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license assigned. And if you haven't had your license assigned yet, still watch this session, and you can learn about that for future use. Once you've saved your prompts, you can also share them with colleagues. Within the prompt gallery, hovering over a prompt reveals a link icon that you see here next to the bookmark. Clicking this link copies a URL to your clipboard, which you can then send to others. When they click that URL, it's going to open a fresh Copilot chat, and that prompt will already be pre-populated, allowing them to make any edits they need and then submit it to Copilot. This is an easy way to share prompts via a direct link. Here are some key prompts to get you started. These are among the top 10 that users find most valuable with Copilot. I'll highlight just a few. For example, recapping a meeting. This is a game changer. If you have ever been in a Teams meeting and struggled to take notes without missing important details, Copilot will revolutionize your meeting participation because you can stay focused and let Copilot handle all of the note taking. We can also summarize information, both in an email thread or in a document and beyond, even in PowerPoint presentations. We also have the email abilities with drafting a new email or even drafting an entire Word document, so you can get that type of creative writing assistance. Education is key. Tell me about a topic or a project. Copilot can search company data to provide information on projects and then explain it in a natural way. This is particularly useful for new employees that are getting acquainted with their organization. You can also ask Copilot to revise existing content or even translate it, as I mentioned before, into any other language. Now, let's see Microsoft 365 Copilot in action with our fictitious demo company, Welcome to Boulder Innovations, where cutting edge EV charging solutions meet intelligent design. What you are looking at is our flagship product, the Charge Hub Pro, an elegant yet powerful EV charging solution that is transforming commercial spaces across the world. Today, we'll see how this forward thinking company is leveraging Microsoft 365 Copilot to accelerate their mission of making electric mobility accessible to all. Our company has been around since 2014 and has evolved from a startup to an industry leader with over 850 employees across multiple locations. We're currently focused on four key initiatives. We are expanding into the European market. We're also launching our affordable residential product line with the Charge Hub Home, as well as enhancing security and elevating our customer experiences. These strategic priorities create a perfect backdrop for us to demonstrate how Microsoft 365 Copilot can empower different roles to drive innovation across the organization. Meet Sophia Barrett, a member of the sales team at Boulder. She's currently developing new opportunities in the hospitality sector while supporting the company's expansion goals. Today, we'll see how Sophia leverages Microsoft 365 Copilot to analyze client needs, create tailored proposals, and identify emerging market trends, all while delivering personalized experiences that help her clients embrace sustainable transportation solutions. Sophia begins her day where most of us do, inside of her Outlook inbox. There is a lengthy back and forth email discussion with a hospitality customer, Contoso Suites, about how Boulder can provide EV charging solutions. Let's see how Copilot can help Sophia distill the information and jump into action.
Sophia reviews an email from Contoso Suites hotel chain. Copilot quickly analyzes the detailed inquiry and organizes it into clear sections covering integration requirements, revenue models, implementation concerns, and guest experience. Through this, Sophia gains immediate clarity on what information she needs to prepare for a response.
We'll start here by opening up Outlook, and I can see the conversation with our customer, Joanna. Let's open this up. Okay. Now, as I scroll through this very lengthy email thread, I'm going to use Summary by Copilot right up here at the top. With a single click, I am able to have Copilot scan the whole email thread to provide us actionable insights right here at the top so that Sophia doesn't need to read every single thing to get a comprehensive understanding of what's happening. Right here, I can see some standout information. You requested additional details to tailor the proposal. And then Joanna provided information on parking capacity, existing chargers, budget preferences, timelines, and more. There were additional questions about user type and pricing. So it seems like we've had quite a robust conversation here, and Copilot can help me distill that knowledge. But I can ask Copilot follow up questions about this in more detail by clicking the Copilot button here at the top of Outlook. This will slide in our sidebar. It'll show me some things and prompt me if I'm unsure how to interact. These are all going to be useful. And of course, anytime that you want help with, hey, what could I ask Copilot in this moment? I want you to take a look at this. This is View Prompts. When I click this, Copilot will show me convenient ways in this current context that I can take action, catch up, schedule meetings, and more. So if ever you're lost, clicking View Prompts is a good first step. So let's begin. Sophia has a simple ask. What are the phases of the 25 property pilot that's mentioned in this email? So on its face, I don't see that information. Copilot's going to need to search through this entire email thread in order to find it. Let's see what we got. It gathers all the information about the thread, and here we go. The 25 property pilot is divided into three phases. Phase 1, installation of the chargers. Phase 2, 10 more of them. Phase 3, the remaining 10 properties over 60 days. This is based on the information from the email. Wonderful. So I get the immediate access to the information that I needed. Let's try another question. Remind me, in this thread, what was Contoso Suite's approved budget per property? A very specific question. Let's see if Copilot can find the answer. And just like that, Contoso Suites has an approved budget of $75,000 to $125,000 per property for the EV charging infrastructure initiative. I get that information immediately. What's happening here is that Copilot is allowing you to have a natural language conversation with your email and ask it questions and bring up those responses and cite back to the original email in question. Now that we've gathered all of this information, it's time for us to actually make the proposal. We've had a lot of good back and forth in this email thread, lots of learnings about Contoso Suite specific requirements, our specific commitments and promises. Let's have Copilot help us take all of that information from the email thread and move it into this beautiful new Word document proposal. Let's see how it can help.
Based on the email, Copilot generates a well structured proposal document that directly addresses their questions. Within minutes, Sophia has created a comprehensive, tailored proposal that would have taken hours to develop manually. Sophia uses Copilot Chat with Web to create detailed financial projections, which she incorporates into the proposal.
So I will excuse Outlook for a moment, and let's go ahead and open up a new document in Microsoft Word. I can see that my Boulder Innovations template has preloaded here, and there's a box for Copilot up at the top asking me to describe what I would like to write. So let's do it. So I've written, create a professional proposal for the Contoso Suites hotel chain, implementing the Charge Hub Pro at their properties, address specific questions about these various items, and include a unique value proposition. However, I do want to give it the context of our entire email conversation. And so I can simply press the slash key, which will then search through what I have, and I can ask it to search for that specific conversation. Here is that email thread, EV charging infrastructure for Contoso Suites properties, sent by Joanna. Let's click that. Now, by giving Copilot this added context and this source that we've referenced, it can use the knowledge from it to draft this proposal. Let's see what happens. Working on it, and you can see Copilot as it thinks through and processes this. I also see up at the top that I have a sensitivity label that has been automatically applied by my organization using Copilot here. Just like that, it has created for me with headings, subheadings, and rich text all of this information that we have discussed. It even references specifics like the Johnson Controls Metasys system that Contoso Suites uses, as well as the other tools, the data security requirements that are required by them, the revenue sharing model that we discussed over email thread, and the ROI periods are all detailed, the phases, and much more, taken from that email conversation, now put into a rich proposal. But my interaction with Copilot doesn't have to end here. I have some other ways that I can make this document even better. I'm going to say, add a table showing potential revenue scenarios under different pricing models. Now, there were different options that were proposed in that email, so let's see what Copilot can do with this. I've started that process, and now look, it's refining the draft live before my eyes. So stuff that isn't affected is repeated exactly as it was. But when I go to add in that new table, as I scroll down, you'll see there we have it, potential revenue scenarios, guest only, public access, and much more. Let me scroll back up. Average daily utilization, rate per charge, monthly revenue, annual revenue. This was pulled from the Outlook email, my friends, and put right here for Sophia inside of this proposal. Let's make one more modification. I'm going to say, add a section comparing our solution to other charging options that Contoso might be considering, particularly highlighting our advantages over Adatum's offerings in the hospitality sector. Adatum is the competitor here to Boulder, so I have some information about Adatum stored in Microsoft 365. Let's see if we can pull in this information and add a section comparing our solution to theirs. It's refining the draft. We again go back to the top. We start filling in the information. Everything that's unchanged stays, including our table from before, but we're going to then add in that rich new section. So let's scroll down. There's my table. Very good. Still working on it. Training programs, guest experience, and here we are, comparison with the datum's offerings. While a datum offers basic integration, our integration with our API is more seamless. Our revenue models are better. Our installation process is different. So it gave this rich comparison to the datum solutions that wasn't previously a part of the proposal. Okay, now Sophia has reviewed this and read every word of it because it is a Copilot, not an autopilot. When Sophia puts this proposal forward, it is her words. So it is important anytime we're using AI like Copilot to review it for that accuracy. She looks at it, says that it is good. So we will hit keep it, and now I have this document ready to be saved. So I'm going to save this to somewhere that's appropriate. I'll save as, and I'll put it inside of Sophia's OneDrive. Contoso Suites proposal. And we're good to go. Perfect. Now I'll close this for now because this has been saved inside of Sophia's OneDrive. Let's go back to that email thread and let's actually send that off to Joanna. So I'll open this up. I'll close the Copilot sidebar. I'll reply. Now, inside of here, I'm going to have Copilot help me draft this simple email to Joanna. So I'll open this up and I will say, proposal is attached. Thank you for the opportunity. Looking forward to partnership. Now, I could never just send those fragments of a sentence to our client, but watch what Copilot does with just this simple information. Bam. Hi, Joanna. Thank you for the opportunity to work with Contoso Suites. I've attached a detailed proposal, a comprehensive overview. We can implement this together. I appreciate your confidence, and we're looking forward to making this partnership a great success. Wonderful. So, do I like it? I do. I'll hit keep it. And just like that, I'm all set. Now, the great thing about the connection between Outlook and Microsoft 365 is that I can simply go up here to Insert and Attach File. I can choose from my OneDrive. There's the proposal we just created, and I'll hit Share Link. And just like that, it has put a link to that live version here. I can then send this off to Joanna and submit the proposal. And what's nice about this is that I didn't have to go and manually create that, attach it to this. If I need to make any last minute changes, this is still the cloud saved version and I can access it. I can implement feedback that Joanna gives and have maintained a live singular source of truth instead of multiple different email attachments. Okay, now what if I want to take this to the next level? Sophia has a meeting coming up with Joanna and her senior leadership team over at Contoso Suites. So taking the actions of this proposal and turning it into a PowerPoint presentation is something that she wants to leverage Copilot to help with. I will minimize Outlook here, and let's go ahead and open up a fresh PowerPoint document.
With Copilot, Sophia transforms her written proposal into a visually appealing presentation that highlights the key selling points of the proposal with impactful visuals. The resulting presentation transforms the detailed information into a compelling visual narrative that resonates.
You'll notice immediately that Copilot is saying, create a presentation? You bet. So let's do it. Copilot is here. What do you want to create a presentation about? Well, I already have an entire Word document about this proposal. I would love if it based it upon that. So let me hit the slash key on my keyboard and then start writing the name of the proposal document. There it is. Perfect. You'll see that has appended itself there, and I can add additional context. There we go. I've given it additional information, give me visual elements, impactful financial projections, and more. I'll just simply hit go. And let's see Narrative Builder inside of PowerPoint in action. It's now reviewing that entire Word document, all the different headings and subheadings that I have there and the data points underneath it, and then creating an outline of what will be the PowerPoint presentation that it will create. So what I like about this is that it gives me the opportunity to come in here and manually revise before it makes the slides what I want my presentation to include. So all of these are really interesting, but let's say that, you know what, I think installation process, I don't need that in this initial proposal, so I can hit delete this right there on the side. Comprehensive training, you know what, training programs are good. I'll go ahead and keep that. I can add a new topic here underneath if I'd like. For the most part, I think this looks good. So let's generate the slides. Now it's going to take that revised outline, go through each of them, take information from the Word document and beyond, and put that into this more detailed view where I can see slide by slide in a somewhat illustrated graphic of what this is going to look like. And you can see them popping in now, bit by bit. Copilot is doing a lot right now. It's using its own inherent knowledge and the email information, or I should say the Word document information, and using that all together to create what you're seeing here on the side. Because I started this inside of the Boulder Company template, you can see that these slides have been branded appropriately. Here's our EV charging proposal. It's created an agenda. I have my different sections like system integration, revenue models, training programs, guest experiences, the comparison with Adatum's offerings. So all in all, this looks like a pretty good start. I do want to add something though to this. So let me jump into the editing view here and I'll pull open Copilot using the sidebar. I'm going to ask Copilot, add an executive summary slide that highlights the top 3 business benefits for Contoso, focusing on revenue potential, guest satisfaction improvements, and sustainability goals. Let's see how this works. It is looking things over, giving us information here in the Copilot pane. Okay, executive summary. Here's some key business benefits, increased revenue opportunities. We love to see it. Enhanced guest satisfaction, improved sustainability goals. Wonderful. It's given me those 3. You'll notice Copilot is also suggesting here on the side that I use Designer. So let me click on its suggestion. Designer is the ability to use the template in order to generate different design ideas of how this can be represented. So if I don't like that first example, I can switch and I can preview what this would look like in a variety of different ways. Now, I think I like, that one's pretty good. Yeah, you know what? I think we should go with this for our executive summary slide. And then, of course, I can come in, make those changes. I want this to be even more clean. I want these to be in bold and bulleted. There we go. There's our executive summary slide in a bit more detail. So all in all, as I look through this, it's pretty good. Sophia will go in and she'll make some additional changes to this, finalize it, and then it is ready for Sophia to send off to the client and to present inside of that meeting. Once she's done this, that proposal is ready for her to present inside of the meeting that she had scheduled with Contoso Suites. So let's fast forward a little bit. She's successfully completed that meeting, delivered this PowerPoint presentation, and, she thinks she did good, but she also understands that there's some perhaps room for improvement in the meeting that she had. If only there was someone there that she can ask as a second opinion how she did in that call, but she was the only person from Boulder that was in the meeting. Well, except for Copilot. Let's see how Copilot can help her review this past meeting that she had.
Sophia uses Copilot to review her sales meeting and recap important details she needs to provide her client. Copilot provides a summarized overview of the points covered, allowing Sophia to ask additional questions about the meeting to clarify action items and next steps.
I'm going to open up Microsoft Teams, and then I will scroll to that meeting, which is in her chat history because it happened in the past. Here is the Contoso Suites EV charging discussion. I'll maximize Teams so that we can see it in full. And anytime a Teams meeting concludes at Boulder, there is a rich recap. I can simply click the View Recap button here or up here at the top. Now, this opens up a rich interface where I can see who was speaking at different times. So this was between me, Sophia, and Joanna. I can see how much each person talked. I can move over to topics and see the different topics and how long each topic took during my discussion with the client. So if I spent too much time on this one particular thing, I can view that in retrospect. And I can even get chapters where I can see that information. Now, right here, you'll see an AI summary is already provided for me with the meeting notes. This is key because Sophia did not need to have her head buried in her keyboard, making sure that she doesn't miss any details of what Joanna was saying. Because Boulder has provided Copilot to Sophia, Copilot is able to come in there, take all of the notes for her in a comprehensive way, and it gets even better because it's not just reviewing these rich notes, which give me specific, detailed information about what happened, but I can also open up the Copilot pane here in this sidebar. And I can have a conversation with the meeting after the fact. Let me show you. I'm going to ask Copilot to provide specific techniques for countering some of the cost objections that Contoso raised in this conversation. So you can see I've asked Copilot this on the side. I said, particularly around cost concerns. And so Copilot chimes in, here are some techniques for handling this. Provide detailed ROI calculations. I addressed cost concerns by providing these benefits. Highlight our competitive advantages and the 70-30 split. Showcase integration efficiency, and all of these other useful things. Using these techniques can help effectively mitigate this. Very good. One other thing I want you to take a look at is here. See how each of these suggestions has a citation? When I hover over it, I can see exactly what Sophia said in that moment that Copilot is referencing to draw the conclusion. So everything cites back to the original recorded transcript.
Sophia wants to analyze her recent meeting and identify areas for improvement. Copilot provides balanced, constructive feedback that acknowledges strengths while identifying areas for improvement. This immediate, personalized coaching is made possible by Copilot.
Everything I've done so far has been here in the recap area of this actual meeting inside of the Copilot pane. And that makes sense. But there are multiple ways that I can interact with Copilot in different places. So let's take a look at Copilot Chat. Right over here on the side column, I can simply open up my chat with Copilot. You can access the Copilot chat through the browser or here directly in Microsoft Teams. When you look at Copilot Chat, this is a very important part. You'll see a selector here that says Work or Web. If I switch this to Web, that's going to allow Copilot to scan, as you'd expect, the web to get a lot of rich information and bring that to me. But if I select Work, that's going to search through my meetings, my Outlook, my different documents, and the information that is stored within the organization in Microsoft 365. So from here, I am going to keep it selected on Work, and let me write a similar prompt. I'm going to say, analyze my meeting, and then I'll hit /Contoso Suites. Notice it's automatically selected meeting since I said meeting. Here's my Contoso Suites EV charging discussion. Very good. That's the meeting I want. And provide feedback on my presentation effectiveness, identify strengths, areas for improvement, and things I can do to make my future presentations even more impactful. Great. Let's go. It found it. That's the exact meeting I'm talking about. It's combing through information, and look at this. All of these insights coming in right before my eyes. I can see techniques for future presentations. Let's see what it said. My strengths, engagement and rapport, data-driven insights, I communicated clearly. I could have had more visual aids. My pacing and timing was a bit fast. It could even incite that, which is more of an auditory feedback. I can also see that some other techniques it's given me, storytelling, visual enhancements, audience engagement. And to summarize, my presentation was effective and well received. They were appreciative, but these techniques could help make it even more impactful. Well, thank you. And there it is referenced, not only that meeting, but the email thread that I had with them as well. So it's finding all of that useful information and pulling that together to give me these insights. So you can use Copilot directly in the sidebar there in that pane inside the meeting, or you can go to Copilot Chat, both here in Teams and on the web with the work selector selected. Use that slash key, it's your best friend, to reference different things like meetings and documents, and you can extract some rich information from Copilot wherever you're using it.
Sophia uses Copilot to analyze regional sales performance data and identify patterns. Copilot generates a comprehensive analysis with a pivot table that shows performance across different market segments and territories, while also recommending comparable opportunities for her to explore.
Let's take a look back at our Outlook inbox, where all things start. I've addressed this with Joanna, I'll flag that for now, and I can see that Arjun has sent me an email. Hey, Sophia, appreciate you taking that time to chat. I've attached the regional sales performance data export. Good. This has all of the key metrics and insights that should be helpful, and there's the link to that file. Very good. I'll go ahead and give this a click. And it's opened it here in Excel on the web. I can press this, and then I'll open it in my Excel desktop application. Very good. So this is what I asked for, a lot of information about some sales, specifically in a variety of industries, as well in a variety of territories, with a variety of products and deal sizes and sales reps. So there's good information here for me to work with, but it's in its raw form, and I'd really like to get some insights instantaneously. So I'm going to use Copilot to help with this. I'm going to move up here to the Copilot area, and to get things going, I actually want to click Analyze Data. It's a really useful tool here in Excel. I press this, it analyzes what I have shown, and here it is. These are just some insights that it has found for me. Margin percentage by industry and client type. So I can tell immediately that education, our margin is 19.25%, whereas healthcare, it's 22%. That's useful. I can see how long the sales cycle is according to the region. How quickly do these different regions take action when it comes to these open deals? Margin percentage by the client type, commercial, enterprise, or public sector, and then separated by product model. There are, look at this, 36 additional results here of unique insights that I can have. All of these are so useful. So, what I'm going to do, I could insert each of these manually, which ones are most relevant to me, into a pivot table. But I'm going to have Copilot distill even this down for me. I'm going to open up the Copilot pane, and I'm going to say, add all insights to a grid. So now it's going to review all of the information inside of this document. It does take a moment for it to process that, review all of those different insights that it was able to find by analyzing the data. Once it finishes all of that up, I'll have that ability to view a lot of rich and visual information about this data all at once. So just like this, I have added all of these insights to a grid. Done. I've added all insights from table 1 into a new sheet. To continue analyzing, go back to the source table. Sounds good to me. So look at this. Sales cycle days, deal size by status, closed one, margin by sector. Who's the top salesperson? I'm the top salesperson here with Sophia up at the top. My installation by full service, accounting for the percentage of deal size. The margin percentages. How frequently do we get the most margin out of these deals? And I even see that it's created for me a variety of different pivot tables here at the bottom for Sophia to quickly and easily analyze this information. Now I'm going to jump back to our main data table here. And I want to ask Copilot another question. I'm going to say, create a detailed analysis of our performance in the hospitality sector, comparing it to other industries, and include the average deal size and cycle length. Let's see it go to work. We're working on it, we're analyzing, and in just a moment, after processing all this data, here we go. Good. Here's a detailed analysis of our performance in the hospitality sector compared to other industries. Average deal size is 224,000, length of about 50 days. Average deal size in technology is greater, but longer. Interesting. And it has created a chart for me that I can insert into a new sheet, and I can see separated by industry all of these different results. This is also a pivot table, so I can add in other things like the product model into this. And I can see that the ChargeHub Pro 300 is really popular in hospitality and transportation customers. I can also see the sales rep information and how much they sold. And then you can see as I click this, I just get more and more rich information about where things are happening and what's going on. I can change this data between columns and rows and values. Pivot tables are very useful, and Copilot loves them. Let me move back to this table. I have just another question to ask. Based on this data, identify other hospitality chains in our region that have similar profiles to Contoso Suites and might represent comparable opportunities. Let's see. Okay, so what do we have? It's saying in order to do this, we need to filter the data in Table 1 based on the industry and territory columns. Correct. Let's filter industry column. Let's filter the territory column. It does this, and then it comes back to me with the results. Here's a list of the hospitality chains in the same region as Contoso Suites. We have these different hotel hospitality customers that are matching the profile of Contoso Suites that might be interested to hear from Sophia and our EV charging solutions because these are some comparable opportunities. This is just some of the insights that we can have inside of Excel using Copilot with Microsoft 365 built in. So I can reference this data, immediately gain insights. So even if Sophia is not an Excel whiz, even if Sophia has never heard of a pivot table, she's able to use some of these more advanced features of Excel in order to extract useful insights from that export that Arjun sent her.
Sophia creates a customer feedback survey to better understand customer needs. Copilot generates a well structured survey with multiple choice, rating scale, and open ended questions. Using Copilot's suggestions, she selects a more attractive design and optimized form settings to boost response rates.
All of this data is wonderful, but it gets even more valuable when we ask our customers for their opinion. Soliciting feedback from a customer can be done in a meeting, can be done over Outlook, and it can be done in a form. Sophia wants to be able to send out a form to hospitality customers to learn a little bit more about their unique needs. And this is where Microsoft Forms can be quite useful. I'm going to open up Microsoft Edge, and then here from my Microsoft 365 homepage, I'm going to go over to this selector up at the top and then open Forms. Microsoft Forms is a free tool that is included inside of Microsoft 365. So if you already have a Microsoft 365 license, you have access to this. And if you're watching this session, you likely have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license as well, which makes Forms even more powerful. So from here, we're going to make a new form. So I'll click this. And here is our friend Copilot right up at the top. I'm going to say, create a customer feedback survey specifically for hospitality clients using the ChargeHub Pro. Include questions about feature preferences, guest usage pattern, revenue generation, integration with other hotel systems. Make sure that the survey can be completed in under 10 minutes. Okay, let's see what Copilot does with this information. I'll hit generate, and then it will analyze what I've asked and then start creating a draft of a customer feedback survey. Let's take a look. Here we go. ChargeHub Pro customer feedback survey. I have one question, two questions, and it starts filling this in as it goes, creating for me some rich information. So it's made about 5 questions for me. Which features of the ChargeHub Pro do you find most useful? Notice I didn't need to tell it much about the ChargeHub Pro. Microsoft 365 Copilot has access to organizational data and general knowledge about the company's products. Which features do you find most useful? How often do guests use our ChargeHub Pro? How has it impacted your revenue generation? Here's a 5-star scale. Which hotel systems do you integrate with? Provide any additional comments. So this is good. I have a few more tweaks. I'm going to say, let's make it a bit longer and include questions about how hotels are marketing the EV charging amenity to their guests and any best practices that they've discovered for maximum utilization. Sure, let's go. Copilot will analyze that. And just as we did in the other applications, it will regenerate that form and then add on these additional questions related to what I'm asking. Forms is easy to use, but if I wasn't using Copilot for this, it would be very manual. I'd have to add a new question, select what format of question I want, come up with the words, add each of the additional options. With Copilot, I don't need to do that. It has written this form for me with different options for checkboxes, radio select buttons, and text entry fields. How are you marketing this? What are the best practices? Provide any additional comments or suggestions. So this looks pretty good to me, and it did make it a bit longer, which is what I asked for. So I think I'm good to go. I'll hit keep it, just like this. And Copilot isn't done helping me out with this. You'll see Copilot has suggestions to improve your form. Okay, Copilot, what you got? It'll analyze it, which is I find somewhat interesting because Copilot helped to create the form in the first place, but we can all always improve upon ourselves. Let's see what the analysis from Copilot of our form brings back. Ah, a design. We do want to make sure this is visually compelling. So what is an example here? What do we want to see? I'm thinking maybe this one has some nice color to it. No, that's someone at home. Let's choose perhaps this one here, someone in front of a laptop? Why not? Maybe I'll hit more styles. Okay, here comes my styles plugin here on the side, and I'll use this one. Sure. There's a couple of other ways that Copilot can help me. So it says let respondents save and edit their responses. I think that's fair. If they change their mind, I'm okay with them going in and resetting that. Do we want to send a receipt of their response to them? I think that's a good open thing to do. So I'll simply hit apply suggestion, and then that will apply those two different settings to my form automatically. Good. Send your form via Outlook. Yes, I plan to. And share your form link anywhere to reach more people. Sounds good. And that's all of these suggestions. So I have my form. It's improved a bit more. In Microsoft Forms, I'll hit collect responses. From there, I can even shorten the URL that it generates and hit copy link. Now, one important thing I wanted to call out in that same area, see how it says only people in Boulder Innovations can respond? Well, that's certainly not what we want. We want to solicit this information from customers. So I'll change this to say anyone can respond. Some organizations may have specific settings that prohibit this, but by default, you're able to send forms externally to collect customer feedback. Good. Invitation will be sent via Outlook. Sure. Then I'll hit send. Oh, let's specify who I want to send it to. Joanna Lorenz. Very good. Hi, would you mind taking 2 minutes to complete this form? It would be great if you could submit. Yeah, I don't need to give my client a deadline. Let me delete that little bit there. But, Copilot helps. And actually, I can rewrite this. Greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to share your thoughts on the Charge Hub Pro feedback. It should only take about 2 minutes of your time. Thanks. Very good. I like that. It even puts a little picture of it. And then I'll simply hit send. Message sent. Done. Now, down here, you can see it says send invites or reminders with Copilot. Let's see what that's about. Use Copilot to draft new invites or reminders for people who haven't responded yet. So let's say I sent this to a lot of people. Copilot can help with this. Let's see what that does. I open this up. There's Joanna. And look, it's written this message, sending a friendly nudge. Please don't forget to fill out the form. If you've already submitted it, you can ignore this message. Well, now I just sent this to Joanna, so maybe I won't send it immediately, but it's nice to know that through the life of this form, including reviewing the data after the fact, I have Copilot here to help me out. Throughout Sophia's client journey, we've seen how Microsoft 365 Copilot transforms the sales process from initial inquiry to ongoing relationship building. By analyzing client needs, creating tailored proposals, designing executive presentations, receiving personalized coaching, and identifying patterns for future opportunities, Sophia delivers exceptional client experiences while continuously improving her approach. For sales professionals like Sophia, Copilot is a competitive advantage that enables deeper client relationships through personalization at scale. What once required hours of preparation can now be accomplished in minutes, allowing for more time for high value client interactions. The resources displayed on your screen include detailed guides for implementing Copilot in sales workflows, along with templates and best practices. Thank you so much for joining Sophia's journey today. I'm excited to see how Copilot helps your sales team exceed client expectations and drive growth.
This event is now concluded. If you have any final questions, you can ask them in the chat. Event resources are linked in our event platform. Thank you so much for joining us today.